Hi, David Campanile here, owner of Campanile Law, located in the great state of New Jersey. We do estate and probate. As always, if you want to talk estate planning with me, you can contact me at njestateattorney.com. So, we're continuing our talk from parts 1 and 2 of Medicaid Trust, so I thought I'd just hop in because there's a lot of information still that we need to go over. And I'm trying to keep everything in short spurts that you can understand. So, question I get when it comes to Medicaid trusts about capital gains taxes and selling your home to include in your Medicaid trust. Well, so there are no capital gains tax implications when doing your Medicaid trusts. Setting up the Medicaid trust doesn't affect your $250,000 capital gains exclusion available to each owner of the home on the sale of your primary residence. Remember, I'm saying primary, not secondary. However, just to let you know, there are assets that you can't put in a Medicaid trust. So these assets would be your qualified retirement plans, or we know them as your IRA and 401k plans, and we don't want to put your primary checking account in there. And I know in our previous video I said you could put your checking account in there, but what we don't want to do that because all this, your qualified retirement plans, they're going to be counted towards Medicaid. And if you want to protect these assets in your IRAs and 401ks, basically what you're going to have to do is liquidate. So you're going to have to take the penalty to liquidate them into cash, pay any income taxes that you're going to owe on that, and then you could place those into your Medicaid trusts. We usually also don't want to put any annuities into your Medicaid trust either, but that is also going to depend on the annuity and how the annuity is written. So the major question we get is, if a big percentage of my assets are wrapped up into these IRAs, 401ks, what have you, can I still do a Medicaid trust? Although these assets, we can't put them, they can't be transferred into these Medicaid trusts because of the tax law or IRS regulations. We recommend, you take your penalty, liquidate, transfer the after-tax balance into this Medicaid Asset Protection Trust, even though all the conventional wisdom and any accountant and a tax attorney is going to say, postpone this, you don't want to pay the taxes on it, and you want to set the taxes aside for as long as possible. This rule has the exception. So, for example, if we were to take a traditional IRA and turn that into a Roth IRA, there are three significant examples. So this would be an exception to the rule. You can avoid mandatory disbursements from the IRA because now you're in the Roth IRA. You avoid future mandatory distributions, which means your money can grow for a longer time and will grow tax-free in the Roth IRA. And by converting funds now, you owe tax at today's ordinary income rates and will never again have to pay income tax on these funds or the growth in these funds. So those are three benefits of just taking your traditional IRA and moving them into your Roth IRA. So we're showing that there are exceptions to the rule where a normal person, a financial planner would say, hey, the tax rates are really low right now. Take advantage of them, move that traditional IRA to the Roth IRA. It's kind of the same thing we're going to do here with the Medicaid Trust, is we're going to say, and your attorney should know what the tax rates are, should know what the capital gains and everything, and say, you know what? I never see these tax rates getting any lower. This is the time in your life where you should be doing it. You're retired. We're anticipating that need coming down the pike. And it's better to just take the tax hit. You're still going to have 2/3 or 3/4 or whatever the percentage is going to be of this money that we're going to put into this trust. You're going to have a way to get this money still, and it's not going to get counted to Medicaid. Whereas if we leave everything as status quo, it's going to get charged towards your Medicaid eligibility and benefits. So it's something that there's always an exception to every rule. And if your attorney tells you there's no exception, You never do anything. Don't listen to David. I'm sorry. He or she is wrong. There are exceptions to every rule. It just depends because every client is in a certain or different scenario where everything could sound great, but there's one thing that's totally different that changes how we would advise you. So remember, we also as attorneys and you as the client, none of us can predict what the federal government's going to do tomorrow or in a year from now when it comes to the federal tax rate. So usually we will always recommend wait for the lower rate or wait for the lowest rate because now you're going to have the most cash. Really, the tax implications are going to be as you and your attorney strategize for them. And that's really a big deal because we're planning for these. And this is a reason you're paying your attorney. You are paying for them to say, you know what, for example, let's say the tax rate on your IRA or some of these qualified retirement plans would be 35% today. I can't remember the number off the top of my head right now. But let's say in 2 years, we're sitting here and, those tax rates went down to 22%. And I'm sitting down going, you know what? I've never seen a 13% reduction. It's never going to be this low again. It's time. Convert it all. Take your tax hit. Let's move it all now. We're being strategic. We're protecting you. We're giving you the most money possible. So remember, these Medicaid trusts, you can do a lot in them. You could put 90% of things in there, but you can't put those IRAs, 401ks, and your primary checking account balance in there. So we are here, as always. If you want to talk estate planning, my name is David Campanile. You can reach me at njestateattorney.com. I am the owner and managing attorney of Campanile Law, located in the great state of New Jersey. And as always, before you use any of what tips, tricks, hints that I've given you, remember to sit down and talk to your attorney. Make sure these work for you in your current situation, and make sure you have that legal advice so you know what you're doing. All right.